Hello, this is Jan Cosgrove. This is Bognor Herald NewsView. That's our new title. If you want to read all the week's news, local and national and arts and science, go to our Facebook page. That's where this is uploaded in the past week. How many angels can sit on a pinhead or stand on one even? Well, don't ask. It's not so much with Arun District Council. There were no angels. You can guess how many pinheads there were at their most recent council meeting on Wednesday. Now, the council is there to debate the fundamental important issues facing us. That's what these councillors, each paid a minimum of £7,000 a year simply for being a councillor. That's what they're there to do. You would expect highfalutin discussion and decisive sort of debate. Well, if you were there on Wednesday, that's what you wouldn't have seen, and I do beg you, do not watch the recording. Frankly, two of us were in the public gallery, and we were like Waldorf and Statler, and we were just dismayed, and we kept mocking the whole proceedings as we sat there. So what were they involved in? The Constitution of the District Council, which they'd already decided to change a year ago, but they were tidying it up. 4 hours of nitpicking, tidying up. The solicitor was in his element, and some of the councillors were running riot with points of order. I would have preferred a pint of Guinness at that point. It was just unspeakable. And in fact, at one point I got so angry I stood up and shouted out. I didn't get thrown out. In fact, afterwards a couple of councillors came up and said, "Well done, Jan," which that's good, isn't it? By the way, after the meeting, I bearded Councillor Gunner in his public space. He's not been answering me properly, and he's refused to answer those questions, public questions I asked at the beginning of the meeting. Now, they're recorded, but you won't hear them. You'll see me, but for some reason the sound has been switched off. I wonder why. An accident? Of course it was. Anyway, what I've been trying to get from him is, will we get regeneration? And why are you doing something that you admit on the Regis Centre is not regeneration? Well, that line of questioning will go only so far. Watch this space, just in case I have to give up that and go to another level. It's coming, I expect. Now, councillors they have an allowance, not travel expenses, but they have an allowance of about £7,000 a year, basic. I worked out that they're probably therefore earning, if you like, £45 an hour by doing this. There was one good part of the meeting. Councillor Mrs. Samantha Jane Staniforth and Councillor David Edwards put forward a motion about youth mental health and well-being, which they want Arun to look at by talking to the County Council and also to the National Health Service. There are problems in this area, like every other part of the country, on this very serious matter. Young people have had lockdown, there are a lot of stress and strain, and there is an issue which they brought quite rightly to the attention of the council. And if you want to know who started the applause after SJ, Samantha Jane, spoke, you can look no further. And councillors joined in. So, however, of course, there was one who had to, didn't he? The usual purveyor of points of order, Councillor Hugh Coster, who has, for me, an air of pomposity which I just find risible. There he was telling us this shouldn't be debated here, it had to go to a committee. If he had read his constitution, this constitution he kept having points of order about, he would have found out that the person putting the motion can speak to it, and the person seconding it also can speak, and then it goes to committee. I did have to send him a very sweet email, which I copied to all councillors and the council solicitor, just explaining the error of his ways. Wasn't that kind of me? The arena swimming pool, it's to close. Shock news, but there are problems of affording the repairs and so forth. Now, this has obviously been building up for some time. The arena is based right next to the Regis School and also next to the Phoenix Centre. It's well used as a leisure space, all sorts of classes and everything. It's right in one of the most deprived parts of the district. So for the swimming pool to go down, well, that's a serious matter. Already schools, teachers, head teachers are already worried about the lack of swimming lessons that will now ensue. This is a seaside town, remember, and children and young people need to learn to swim. So we'll have more on that as it develops, but it is not a welcome moment. One other area project nearby, that's the Youth and Community Centre at West Slopes Lane. That is actually forging ahead. We can hope to give you news soon. The likelihood is that the youth sessions will start in the summer. They're already looking at other important and useful ideas at the centre as well. One bet might be a community cafe as well. So, now, the Rocks under 14s, they meet today, that's Sunday the 15th, this afternoon. We wish them luck in their cup final for the under 14s in Sussex. Well done, lads, for getting this far. We're counting on you and hoping you do it. There's a petition out from this area, a parliamentary petition, which seeks to ban all building on agricultural land. Very worthy, you might say. Well, is it? We have serious housing need. We have population growth. Whether we have immigration or not, we've still got it. We've got population growth. Now, the petitioners will say there's brownfield land, old factory sites and so forth. I don't notice too many around here. And there's also places above shops. As one of them said, well, there's been 7 shops premises created by above shops in Littlehampton. I've been challenging these good people with their noble aspiration. Just how many such premises are there in Arun district? And how much will that meet the housing need that we have and which has not been met and is failing to be met? I've had no reply on that. Seems to me they will sort of say anything will do, but don't build on the green fields that we have nice views of. Is the NIMBY in there? I suspect it is. And they don't mention some of the serious environmental issues about not having a decent home. You don't see petitions to build homes that people need. You don't see that from these people at all. It's always don't. Don't meet their need. Let them remain in the shadows, unconsidered, hidden from sight. A bad home situation, a poor home environment, is a very serious environmental matter. Believe you me. There's no balance in this. And they don't mention some of the poor, detrimental agricultural practices that go on in the countryside round here. Monoculture, the ripping up of hedges, all sorts of things like that. Look, if population grows, there's got to be more housing. You may argue it's the wrong sort. I can deal with that in another programme, but this petition is based on an erroneous principle, and it doesn't seem to me to have any balance to it. To discourage development on agricultural land, yes, that's very worthy, so long as it's sustainable. And sustainable doesn't mean pretty fields and meadows only. It means a decent environment for people, which you would wish for yourself. So why would you wish others not to have it because you don't want to see green space built on? Anyway. Now, finally, some years ago, quite a few years ago, and this is brought to my attention recently by she who shall be obeyed in my life. She raised an issue of how I'm perceived. Well, that's good. I recall this incident. It was years ago when I was the director of a national, London-based children's charity, a first paid director they'd had, and it was adventure playgrounds for handicapped children. Lovely projects, several of them, 4 of them across London, and we built one at Lambeth at that time, additionally. The Charlie Chaplin playground, it was called. Now, the person who ran it before me was the chairman, a county lady from Wiltshire who had a flat in Chelsea, plus others of her ilk. And the decision was made to bring me in because, well, there were things like she wanted to sack women who were pregnant because they were pregnant and couldn't do the job. And one day we got to a point where there was an annual meeting to be held, and there were nominations for the trustees, which normally had been stitched up so that only the right and proper people got on. But one of the upstart chairman of one of the playground committees decided that he would put forward, and his nomination duly came in, and I received the nominations. And in strides this good lady and says, I want the nominations, made it clear that this man wasn't suitable, the wrong sort of person. And I said, no, Mary, you can't have it. Why? Because you've just told me you want to fiddle the election. And so, you've got to give it to me. I said, no. And she said to me, and this is where the point I want to make, the problem with you, Jan, is that you're not humble like our Lord Jesus Christ. Go discuss. Anyway, until the next time, this is Jan Cosgrove signing off. Remember to keep up with the news on our Facebook page. Goodbye till next time.